good morning. So part of my job is just doing things or different things every day. It's very rarely the same thing every day. Today I had a power company that was having problems with their underground wire. So they opted to move the transformer closer to where the poles are, so by the road, and then bring in some secondaries, 1,300 feet. And now our job is to come in, because I'm an electrician, not a good one, and I don't do it very often, but I am, and it's part of our business. My boss, he's the real electrician, so some of the things that I do may not be the latest practices, but they're up to code. Everything has to be inspected anyway, so we know it's going to be good. So this particular job, the transformer was sitting here, and the pump panel is over there next to the pivot point, and then all the way over there is where the power comes from. So they buried parallel lines out here, 250s. So what that means is there's two sets of wires because of how long it is and the amp load that we have. There's voltage drop, and to minimize voltage drop, you have to either upsize the wire or you can parallel wires. Lots of electrical code stuff. So I spared you the agony of watching me get these two sets in underneath this cement corner of the cement pad and into the conduit. But now we'll go ahead and get our grounds done, and terminate our wires on this end. And that's a lot of work too. So being an electrician is not easy work when you're playing gopher and pulling heavy wires. But here we go. One thing about being an electrician is it takes lots of different tools, lots of pieces that you're going to use once on a job. But if you don't have them, you don't do it right. And sometimes I forget to bring stuff. Sometimes the biggest challenge working on electrical stuff is getting the room to actually work on it. Sometimes it's the wires aren't cooperating, and you gotta get them all the way in the terminals. And this junk we're putting on is deox paste, which needs to be put on any place for dissimilar materials so they don't oxidate. That's why it's called deox. In case you're wondering, this stuff smells pretty good, but tastes terrible. And it's sticky. Well, I need to get a place to mount this grounding lug. Just like every nut and bolt on an engine, electrical stuff has a torque spec too, and you should always torque the terminals to the proper torque. And that's what I did there, right? Alright, we have the grounds done. Now we need to get the phases done. Sorry, had to refill my coffee. Alright, now we need to figure out our phases, where we're going to tie everything in. It's hard to figure out sometimes how to do all the terminations with this big wire. There's not always room. So it takes a little bit to figure it out, and then we'll get it done. Because of the size of the wire, I can't get two of these wires in the terminals on the top of the disconnect. So that's why we use these clear taps, are called. We can put 3 wires into one of these, and it's insulated. So I can put the 2 incoming in, and then the third one will go to the disconnect. I'm just trying to figure out where the best place to put them is, because there's a bending radius to the wire. There's just there's only so much room we can put things. So a few things to take into consideration. But I think I'm going to start here. That should work. So then these wires are marked, since these 4 wires all came bundled together, and this is for 3-phase. They're marked with phases. So this is phase A. This has deox paste preloaded in them. All right, I had to take a phone call, and during that time the battery went dead. So we're back. I'll get some zip ties and start tying things up. All right. Well, so here's one phase in there. I'm gonna cut this off at a real sharp angle so the next person that gets in here gets mad. All the way up into phase A, or line 1, which is the same as phase A. So 2 more of those to go. Check back with you later. All right, well, everything is terminated here. We got our 3 phases going on top of the disconnect. Have our 3 clear taps. Not as neat as it could be, but it's about as neat as I'm going to get it. So I'm going to go ahead and leave all the excess wire and stuff here, because you know that's what electricians do. I'll clean it up. And then we move over to the road and start working over there. We only have a little bit of time before we have to go pour concrete. So, a wide range of skills that we use, but that's part of the job. So, later. Okay, here's the other end of this underground wire. We have, the transformer here, and then it goes underground and comes out of the this is the one that comes out of the transformer, and then these 2 are the ones that go under the road, underground, all the way out to the pivot point that you can't see out there because it's too far away. So we're going to put a couple of metal posts in the ground here. So we mount our disconnect. Because of the distance and because they're secondaries, we need to have a disconnect here. We'll mount our disconnect right in here. And then after that is, or the disconnect is all mounted, then we wait for the power company to turn the power back on. First thing we need to do is start uncovering the wires. We need to dig a little dirt. We need to dig a little dirt around the wires there, carefully without nicking them. Get our post set, get our conduit slid on, and then we'll mount the box. So, here we go. Good morning. We're back on this new service underground wire for the irrigator. Power company moved the transformer to the road. Rained a little bit overnight, but amazing thing about this sand is it's not muddy. It's just wet. Oh, so where we're at right now is we've got our framework done and our conduits roughed in. It's not finished, but and we'll slide our disconnect over the wires and hang the disconnect, and then start terminating the wires. So here we go. I don't know how I missed recording all that, but panels mounted, our conduits are in there. I'm gonna put a little dirt in here so it's a little easier to work here, and then I'll start terminating wires. putting on some double lugs because we have parallel wires going out. We need 2 wires hooked to the bottom of the fuses. And so we have double lugs for doing that. Well, at least the wind is back. That's good. Okay, well, it's all done. It's labeled. Pieces are in. Wires aren't quite as neat as I'd like them, but I don't know if you've ever tried to bend them wires, you know how hard they can be to get where you want them to go. So we'll wait for the transformer to get heated up again and then check our rotation. I've got most of everything cleaned up around here. I don't think I'm going to sweep today though. Forgot my broom. We have our power turned on back out here now. So now we're going to check our voltage. That looks good. We'll check it out at the other end and then we'll check for our rotation. Okay, so back out to the pivot point here. Now we're going to check our phasing, see if that's correct. And if you don't know, 3-phase motors can run either clockwise, counterclockwise, based on the order of the phasings. We have phase A, phase B, phase C. And if we don't have them in the right order, then some motors will run backwards, some will run the right way. To make it right, you just swap 2 of the 3 phases, and that will get all the phasing going the right way. So here we have a pivot control panel. We're just going to start in forward, and then we watch the irrigator, and it's going backwards. So then we'll shut the power back off, swap 2 of the wires, and then we'll test it again. Okay, so swapped 2 of the 3 wires in our power. The power's back on. We'll try this again. There, now we're going the right direction. All right, well, this one's done. Thanks for watching.